You're watching the Hong Kong Racing Show coming to you from Louisville, Kentucky. I'm Andrew Brown, joined by my regular co-pilot, Alex Evers, who's supposed to be here with me in Louisville, Kentucky. We'll get to more on that in just a sec. We've got a great show coming up with two former Hong Kong jockeys set to race in the Kentucky Derby on Saturday. We're going to have a look at the Kentucky Derby. Of course, we've got Umberto Rispoli and Joao Moreira with top chances in the race as well. They've both got really good chances. So we're going to take a look at the Run for the Roses at Churchill Downs this weekend. We're also going to look back at the highlights from a big day at Champions Day at Sha Tin last Sunday. Alex was there, so he's going to recap it all for us. And speaking of Sha Tin, we're going to find you a winner or two at Sha Tin this weekend. The races will probably start a few hours after the Kentucky Derby card at Churchill Downs concludes for the day. So we'll be having plenty to wager on Saturday. Alex, as I mentioned, I was looking forward to doing this show with you in Louisville, Kentucky, perhaps over a beer somewhere or maybe beneath the Twin Spires. What are you still doing in LA?
Flight got canceled. My second leg of my flight got canceled as we were boarding the plane this morning. So extra day at home with the wife and the dogs. Everything's positive. It would have been better being home than being stuck in Dallas, Love Field, or wherever. It's again my fear of the domestic travel now. I like the long haul 15-hour flights much better than these domestic little hoppers. But worst things can happen. We'll try to get after it tomorrow. And hopefully I see you out there Friday under the great Twin Spires.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Bring a raincoat. There's a little bit of rain in the forecast, although they have been threatening rain all week, and I've only seen a little sprinkle thus far.
It's
But
it's waiting for me to get there. It's
probably
just waiting.
I remember Oaks Day last year, I think, where I was on track when you walked past and you had your raincoat on. Andy Bean Cohn walked past barefoot. She was soaked on Oaks Day. So we'll see what happens this year. Anyway, can't wait to have you here. So you'll get in Thursday night, see you out at the track on Friday. Whilst we're talking Churchill Downs and Oaks and Derby, let's talk the Kentucky Derby. Because as I mentioned, two former Hong Kong jockeys in the race, and this is the Hong Kong Racing Show. Joao Moreira aboard Luxor Cafe and Umberto Rispoli aboard the favourite Journalism. So we'll start with Journalism, Alex. Drawn post 8, and there's plenty of speed on his inside and outside. The general consensus is now, at least on paper, is that Umby could find himself in a really nice position aboard Journalism. What do you think?
I mean, you hope so, right? And barrier 8 is wonderful. And as we talked about with him earlier, where he was saying he's a big horse and the smaller gates, they do the multi-draw. So 1 and 11 go. So he shouldn't be standing in the gate too long being from barrier 8. I think
Mm.
there's real competition. I really like Luxor Cafe, and I like that they didn't go to Dubai with him. They elected to skip that trip and rest up as he had the lead in where he won into the race.
Mm.
I think that's going to be a huge benefit to that horse because that Dubai trip can be tough and it was extremely hot that night. But I do think Ubby's horse should slot perfectly in. I kind of expect him to go relatively quick, especially with Lemaire being aboard Admire Daytona, and he'd been on two front runners in two of the biggest pace meltdowns, the Breeders' Cup Classic and Rich Strike's Kentucky Derby.
Mm-hmm.
So I do expect maybe the pace to be quick and fast on that sealed track, and I do expect it to rain. Now, with Journalism being by Curlin loved the mud. Smart Strike seemed to do really well in the mud. So I don't think, and I know he's never run on a rain-affected track before, but I don't think that the weather is going to be a factor for him. And I do think the same thing for Luxor Cafe with that American Pharoah line to get through Pioneer of the Nile and Empire Maker. Empire Maker, another one who just loved the mud. So those two, I do believe, are primed regardless of weather and condition. And then I just hope we see Joe Umby battling on the stretch, and I want to see my man Umby win the Derby on Journalism. Proper name too for a Kentucky. It just sounds like a Kentucky Derby winner, doesn't it? Journalism.
Yeah, well, he'll be writing some headlines, won't he, if he gets the job done on Saturday. I had the pleasure of catching up with Umby after the post position draw. I should note that I am actually working here in Louisville for TwinSpires, the official betting partner of the Kentucky Derby. And I was at the post position draw interviewing all the jockeys and trainers directly after to get their reaction for TwinSpires, including Umby. And thanks to TwinSpires, we can have a look at this interview with Umby. Well, the Kentucky Derby favourite Journalism will start from post position 8. I'm with his rider, Umberto Rispoli. Umberto, your first reaction to that post?
I'm happy, very happy, Andrew.
What
are you thinking from that position and the other speed around you from there?
Look, I think it's a pretty some legit speed on the inside. I have some few horses, then they pretty quick out of the gate. Some other horses that's going to come from the outside to get some nice position. I think if you would bounce out well from the gate, we can put him in a tactical spot and see what happens.
What's he been showing you here at Churchill Downs that's giving you the confidence heading into next Saturday?
Look, so far, I saw him this morning. Everybody knew what happened. I came here to work him. I think we take the right decision to don't work the track. It wasn't really. Michael didn't really like the track, so I jumped on a plane to go back to California. I get stuck 5 hours in Atlanta, and then the horse is going to work. It's going to work tomorrow, so it was more easy for me to coming back here. I would have lost my rides anyway over there, but I'm happy to sit on him. I have a feeling on him tomorrow morning, and look, he looks fantastic. He doesn't look like a horse that didn't like this place, and finger crossed and see what happens Saturday.
And you're going to have one of your old Hong Kong jockeys right next door, Joao Moreira on Luxor Cafe. That'll be a bit of fun.
Absolutely. I'm so excited and Joe's coming to ride the Kentucky Derby. We've been in touch in the last couple of weeks. He's very happy too. It's going to be a very good experience for him. And look, we're going to have this experience together. We spent so many seasons over there together, and we're going to draw it next to each other in the Kentucky Derby, but it's fun.
Awesome. You're feeling cool, calm and collected right now heading 1 week out?
Yeah, there is no point to get pumped up yet. The adrenaline is going to come with that day, so it's a week away.
So Umby looking pretty relaxed there after the post position draw, and he's actually looking pretty relaxed all week. He's engaging with the crowd. He's got his family in town. He's been on the backside doing lots of media. Seen him at Jocktails on Wednesday night, pouring drinks. So it looks like he's really soaking up this experience and enjoying every moment, and he seems pretty relaxed heading into Saturday aboard journalism. I was also very lucky to catch up with Joao Moreira when he arrived at the track on, what day was it now? Tuesday morning. So unbelievable that you think he rode a double at Sha Tin on Sunday afternoon. Tuesday morning, he was in Louisville, Kentucky, jumping aboard Luxor Cafe, his ride for this Saturday's Kentucky Derby. And I was lucky enough to catch up with Joe right after he jumped off Luxor Cafe. Well, on Sunday afternoon, jockey Joao Moreira was riding a double on Champions Day at Sha Tin in Hong Kong. 36 hours later, he's here in Louisville and just jumped aboard Luxor Cafe, his mount for the Kentucky Derby on Saturday. Joao, did you ever expect that you'd be riding a Kentucky Derby contender?
No, but to be honest, that was always my dream.
Was it? Yeah.
It's such a big race, which in Brazil we follow it from long history, I'm sure Brazil has never had a horse in this race, but the Brazilians, like horse racing fans, surely watch it when it's on.
Sure. Well, it was a month ago today that you were last aboard Luxor Cafe for that super impressive win in Japan. Can you compare the horse that you were on a month ago to the horse that you're on today, this morning?
Still the same horse. Obviously, the trip has taken a little bit out of him. He's still building up that energy that he wasted to travel. However, he's not that far. He's just a few days to get there. Few days to fulfill himself with all the energy that he wasted. And he's just going around so well with himself. Nice, smooth sort of movements. I'm excited and I'm happy the way how he's going.
That's awesome. So are a lot of us. Talk to us about that turn of foot he showed at the end of that last race, because it looks like distance is really going to be his friend.
Oh yeah. Listen, he ran 1,800 meters there last time. And as we are closing up to the finish line, farther away he was getting. So that means he crossed the line with plenty left in the tank. Distance not going to be a problem to him. And I really believe he's one of those kind of horse that anyone else would dream to have racing these sort of races, And I'm just blessed to be the rider at this time.
Now, Japan were 3rd and 5th last year with Forever Young and T.O. Password. Can you draw a line between Luxor Cafe's talent and perhaps Forever Young, who the North American audience would be extremely familiar with?
I've raced a few times against Forever Young, especially before those races that he raced in America. I cannot split them at that age. Don't forget, horses improve, and surely Forever Young went on to improve some more. and then he become one of the most amazing horse on the dirt in the planet. So at the same age that they were, I'd say there isn't much between them. So I'm not just saying that this horse should come and win the race, but I'm saying he gives us all the confidence that he is able to really put on a really good perform. And by doing so, we gotta have faith.
For sure. And post position 7, how are you feeling about that? And you're just inside your old Hong Kong sparring partner, Umberto Rispoli, who's on the favourite journalism.
He's a great person. I love him. I had a great time riding against him in Hong Kong. I'm not worried about who is jumping around me. I'm just worried about my horse. Umbi is not just the horse that I would need to beat to end up winning the race. And I think he sees that the same way. So it's always been getting to ride against this type of people. The respect is always there, and hopefully whoever wins, I hope it's me, to be honest.
Me too. Well, you rode the first winner of the first leg of the Japanese Triple Crown just a couple of weeks ago. You've been in superb form, as I mentioned earlier, a double at Sha Tin on Champions Day on Sunday afternoon. What would it mean to add the first leg of the American Triple Crown to this incredible last few weeks that you've been having?
That would be something unthinkable, to be very honest. I went over to Japan 6 weeks ago thinking, I was just hoping that I could get some decent rides and get some winners. But fortunately, the people that I've been working with, they very competent, and they're doing a good job for all of those people that get together with them. And we had an amazing success that I'm sometimes I have to pinch myself because that doesn't seem to be true. Anyway, we're here in America now. All our thoughts is on this coming race, and I really hope that we get a good result with this guy.
Again, our thanks to TwinSpires for borrowing that interview. TwinSpires, the official betting partner of the Kentucky Derby. I'm here in Louisville, Kentucky, working for TwinSpires, the Churchill Downs ADW. So it was great to catch up with Joe then, Alex, who, I thought his comment too about comparing Luxor Cafe with Forever Young at the same age, if he thinks of Forever Young a year ago to Luxor Cafe now, that he can't split them talent-wise. And that's a pretty good leg up for Luxor Cafe, I think.
Yeah, and he's had 3 prep runs this season and 2 at 1,800 meters. I just don't think the distance will be a problem for him. And for me personally, I've never really loved horses coming through the Middle East route to get to the Kentucky Derby. I just think it's so difficult, so tough. And we saw the super talented horses back in the 90s, like Worldly Manor, not be able to do it. It hasn't been done yet. It was that far away last year, but I like his lead in, and the way he accelerated up the hill in his final lead in race was really, really impressive. We'll see. I mean, it's the crowds shouldn't be a factor with Japan having huge crowds. Joe's got all the experience in international Grade 1 races, so if you do like Luxor Cafe, I'd have some confidence in that horse.
Yeah, and interesting too that he's drawn 7 just inside Umby as well. So they might be able to have a quick conversation and wish each other good luck before the post positions crash back and they're on their way for the 1.25 miles around Churchill Downs. All right, before we move on, let's get your selections. Give us your selections for the 151st running of the Kentucky Derby, Alex.
I'm going journalism over Luxor Cafe, Grande, and in 4th, Final Gambit.
All right. Okay. So you've got the 2 Hong Kong jocks to get the exacta. That would be awesome. I hope to see it. Look, I agree with you with journalism. I think he's going to be awfully hard to beat. Early markets suggest that we might actually even be able to get 4-1, which is great. There's a lot of money coming in for Sandman. We're still, as we record this, a couple of days out from the race. We're recording on Wednesday night. So, yeah, really exciting to see that journalism could actually give us a little bit of value around that 4-1 mark. But I'm with you. I think journalism's going to run a big race. I think Luxor Cafe is going to run a huge race. Moreira is just riding an absolutely sensational form at the moment too. He
Absolutely.
had the first leg of the Japanese Triple Crown the other day. Maybe he'll get the first leg of the American Triple Crown as well. Not long after he finishes in Kentucky on Saturday, he's off to Brazil to ride in one of Brazil's biggest races about 20 hours later in a Group 1. So he's just phenomenal. No wonder they call him the Magic Man. I liked Grande's run. It's weird. We hadn't been comparing notes, but I thought Grande's run in the Wood Memorial was sensational. He was so wide the entire trip. I don't mind the freshness, only 3 starts. Todd Pletcher just, under the radar with this one. And I think we're going to get a good price about Baffert's duo. And if
Yeah.
we are, you got to take a look at it, right? Like if Citizen Bull goes off at 20-1, it's got to be worth an each way wager perhaps, or to at least be throwing into your trifectas and superfectas for sure. So, but basically the consensus between us is journalism all the way. And how good would it be if our mate Umberto Rispoli gets the chocolates?
Yep. I just think the California form is the strongest horses right now. Look,
Yeah.
the best part of racing is we make opinions. It plays out on the track. We get to see if we're right or wrong. So let's see what happens.
We will see what happens. All right, well, let's recap Champions Day. 3 massive Group 1s at Sha Tin last Sunday. You were there to witness it all. It kicked off with the Chairman's Sprint Prize. Ka Ying Rising was sent out a short price favourite, chasing a 12th straight win. Here's the final stages.
Ka Ying Rising at the 250. He swept 3 lengths in front of Magic Control, Satono Rave, and then came Invincible Sage. Helios Express runs on, but it's Ka Ying Rising. He does it with the grace and poise of another great sprinter. He's the Usain Bolt of the equine world. Ka Ying Rising beats Satono Rave. Helios Express has run a placing to him again.
Ka Ying Rising cementing his place as the world's best sprinter. Love the call from Mark McNamara with the Usain Bolt comparison. Alex, tell us about the crowd at Sha Tin when Ka Ying Rising won on Saturday.
Electric, and I think you're starting to see that the crowd and the fans are realizing that this is an absolute superstar. The stuff that Tim's been telling us for 9 months, everyone's starting to realize just how great this horse is. And look at the horses that he beat. Satono Rev, Grade One winner. Helios Express almost swept the Classic Series. Darby was a bit too far from last year. Lucky Swainess was in there. Invincible Sage, excuse me, not Shield, Sage. Multiple Grade One winners, and he just toys with them. He's in my lifetime, he's the best sprinter that I've physically seen in person, and he caps off the perfect season. He's got the perfect rider for him, just ice man out there, Purton. Nothing stresses him out, and he just gave that horse. I was kind of surprised to see him back where he was too. I thought he'd be a bit more forward, but he said, "I'm not playing around." He's like, Once I got the opportunity to get clear and just come wide and gone." So on to the Everest, hopefully. Hopefully the club writes a race for him, and he can have a lead in when did that be? September, and then off to the Everest in October.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're trying to create a race, aren't they? But like at the end of the day, I think the plan would be just to go in fresh. And I mean, he's certainly got the talent. I don't know if you'd even be concerned off the bench with him, given just how much of a superstar he is. But we'll see what happens. And the build up to that race, the Everest in Randwick, is going to be absolutely amazing. So can't wait for that one. All right, let's move on to the second Group 1 on Champions Day. It was the Champions Mile. It was billed as Hong Kong's best miler, Voyage Bubble, up against Australia's best miler, Mr. Brightside. Here's the final stages.
A little My Wish, and then came Gaia Force, Voyage Bubble and Red Line square off for the moment. 2 lengths to My Wish, then came Galaxy Patch. There's no Mr. Brightside. Red Line's going the race of his life. Voyage Bubble, My Wish, Red Line kicking over Voyage Bubble. Sunlight Power screaming home. Red Line, Voyage Bubble, what a finish! It's close to a dead heat in the Champions Mile. Voyage Bubble and Red Lion, who's gone the race of his life. Who wins it? Voyager, it's going to be Red Lion.
So a huge upset there, Alex, in the Champions Mile, but it took a little while for us to get the official result. Can you tell us what happened?
Yeah, we had a little bit of bumping there over the final stages. I thought the stewards absolutely got it right. There was no consequence to the race. It didn't really affect the outcome. Bubble had all the opportunity to get by him, and he just couldn't get by him here. Red Lion, he'd run so many great races, and he'd run really well on a rain-affected track. Not that it was super soft, but it was graded good. And once he put his head in front, he just would not lay down. Like you watch the replay, he just kept going and going and going and finding a bit more. And it turned out to be an incredible race. And now it looks like Voyage Bubble is going to go try the 2,400 meters in the Champion and Chater on May 25th. And he's going to have Stellenbosch, Al Rifa, and By Honor to contest with if he is going to win the Triple Crown. So that comes up an incredible race. But what a battle. And I think maybe that'll toughen him up for the 2,400 meters there.
Yeah, for sure. You haven't heard anything about Rebels Romance perhaps returning for the Champions and Chater again this year, have you?
He wasn't on the entry list, and I don't imagine he's going to come this season.
Okay, so here's the defending champion. Going to give it a miss this year, but that'll be great to see Voyage Bubble step up to the 2,400 meters. Wow, what a versatile horse. Incredible. All right, well, we had one more Group 1 on Champions Day at Sha Tin on Sunday. There's a bit of North American interest in this race as well, with John Stewart and Resolute Racing's Goliath part of the field. Here's the final stages.
He's out by a length and a half to 2. Over in second spot, Cap for Prognosis. Tastiera, though, for Japan. Prognosis is going to run another placing, but Tastiera won the QE2.
Tastiera getting the job done there. Alex, what did you make of the performance?
Just a very quality horse, a Japanese Derby winner, Frosty out there, given a Frosty ride, and he gets a grade 1 in Hong Kong. He was so close last year in December to Romantic Warrior. Nice to see him get that win for Japan.
No, for sure. All right. Well, we've still got, as you just mentioned, another Group 1 left in the season. We've got, May, June, July, about 2.5 months left of this season. Still plenty up for grabs. Looks like Zach Purton's obviously got the Jockey Championship wrapped up, but still David Hayes might be able to make a run for it against John Sires in the Trainers Championship, and we've got that Champions and Chater Mile coming up as well. And we're going to keep you informed here on the Hong Kong Racing Show with plenty of guests and keep you going all the way through to the end of the season. Well, speaking of Sha Tin, we're going to find you a winner for this weekend. And Alex, the feature race at Sha Tin this weekend, it's the Group 3, the Queen Mother Memorial Cup handicap. Just a short field, but long on talent. And they're going 1.5 miles on the turf. Bravehearts has had a great season, hasn't he? Winning 3 of 6. And the Noisy Boy comes out of the Hong Kong Derby, where he is last of the 14, so he'll be hoping to improve. Do you like anyone in particular this race as we have a look at the field and also the speed map up on your screen at the moment?
It's a bit early. Like I said, we're doing this before the official barrier draws that happened for the race. But besides horses are going so well right now, I think I'm going to look at Bundle Award here. There's a lot of nice horses running on the card on Sunday too. I think we kind of talked about it before we got going here. But like in the next race, we got Hong Look Golf, Pray for Myrrh, Family Jewel coming back. It's actually a really interesting card. Cross Border Pegasus, who actually trialed when I was there, he looks really really well. He's a nice one as well. So a very exciting card. Hopefully we get well, I'm going to be staying up all night Saturday night because my flight's so early Sunday morning. So I'll probably be betting some shots in from the hotel there in Louisville. But it's a good card. And actually Noisy Boy in that in the grade 3, the 2,400 meters is kind of interesting because he's a Japanese bred. I can't off the top of my head. I'm trying to see, is he a real steal? Let me click this thing so I don't give any misinformation. Yeah, he is a real steal. So possibly the 2,400 meters, and he won at 2,200 meters at Happy Valley, so that might be up his right up his alley. And there's not a lot of distance type stayers in Hong Kong that can stay that 2,400 meters. So having that experience over 22 is interesting.
Yeah, well, the field has actually just come out as we're chatting, believe it or not. Noisy Boy,
Oh, is that right?
has drawn 4, Bundle Award 2, and 5G Patch from 1. Zach Purton on Bundle Award as well. So I'm kind of with you. I think Bundle Award's probably going to be pretty hard to beat in that particular race. And there is a field of 6. So it's only a short field, but yeah, there's some exciting horses in there. So I'm kind of looking forward to that race. The other race that I'm looking forward to is a horse that I've been following for a while now. I thought Steps Ahead, who ran really well in the Derby and then came back and was just beaten the last time out. And he's going around as well. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on Steps Ahead at Sha Tin on Saturday night, Sunday morning as well. Alex, have you got anyone else that you think that we should be looking out for?
Yeah, I'm looking at in the 11th race, so that it's going to be like probably when I'm boarding the flight. um, I like the boombox for Chris, so
Oh,
he's a
yeah.
nice horse. He rattled off 3 wins. He's run third the last 2 times, but he gets Purton aboard, and he looks like he fits with this bunch of horses at 1,400 meters.
Yeah. Sorry, what time's your flight out of Louisville?
6:15 in the morning on Sunday. Can't wait. Oh, in and out quick. I'm just there for business. In, out, back home Sunday. Hope to have brunch with the wife Sunday.
How good. That's good. It's always a good feeling, isn't it, to get that one of the first flights out of here after Kentucky Derby Day and make sure you get home and get on with things after what will be probably a really exciting day too. I'm actually looking forward to it. And as we said at the top of the show, fingers crossed for Umberto and also Joe as well. I hope those guys just run great races.
Absolutely. Yeah. I just want a safe, clean race. Everyone get home safely. And may the friends of the show ride the race of their life and get the glory.
Yeah, for sure.
If Umby wins, I'm gonna be crying, and I might just yard sale the camera gear and try to go get in the winner's circle with the guys.
You, if
Imagine,
Umby
imagine
wins,
that one.
if Umby wins, you might not be on that 6:15 flight out of Louisville on Sunday morning. I'm just tipping.
No, I am absolutely going to be on that flight out of Louisville. You got to SDF is brutal on Sunday morning with all the hats and everything. You got to beat the drunks, like the people that drink all day from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. then go out. They're going to struggle at 6:15. Where I'm going to be just traveling nice through security to the plane and get home. That's the goal.
I did it last year. Actually, last year I was on an American Airlines flight to, where did we go by? I think Phoenix, possibly, or maybe it was Dallas. But Umberto and Antonio Fraser were on my flight, which was kind of cool. And both of them had winners as well on Derby Day, which was interesting. Derby Day, I should say. Umberto was on
Darby.
NBC in the Derby, but he rode the winner of the American Turf, which Ironman Cal's in this year.
Shikari.
Yeah, that's right. And I can't remember who Fraser rode, but he had a winner as well on Derby Day last year. Derby Day. But
Hey,
anyway.
if you guys go, I'm rooting for you. I want to see you get in the winner's circle. That
Oh
would be
man, that would be
crazy.
unreal.
On Derby Day for you to be in the winner's circle. You almost pinched one at Breeders' Cup. You were so close.
Yeah, no, that would be unreal. I don't know if I'll end up. If Ironman Cal wins the American Turf, I'm not sure I'll end up even seeing the Kentucky Derby.
How cool though to have a horse run on Derby Day. I mean, that's a dream of everybody.
Yeah, it's very cool. Hope he runs. Obviously, we're keeping an eye on the weather, so we'll see what happens. Alex, I want to thank you so much for joining me under testing conditions, trying to get to Louisville. You're back home in LA. At least you get one more night in your bed. Every night in your bed when you're doing all the traveling that you're doing must be a godsend. Really looking forward
Absolutely.
to a big weekend here at Churchill Downs. So we'll see you here in Louisville soon. As we said, all the best to Umby and Joe, the former Hong Kong riders, and all the best to everyone having a bet and playing Sha Tin on Saturday night as well. We'll see you next week on the show. We'll recap everything that's happened this past weekend and look forward to another big weekend of Hong Kong racing as well. So we'll see you next time on the Hong Kong Racing Show.